Welcome, 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 welcome. She's coming. She is coming. She said this is Nadia's first time on a studio-based coffee moaning, guys. We're going to try and bring you images. We're going to try and bring you multimedia sensation. We've even titled ourselves appropriately at the bottom of the screen. I wonder if Nadia will even notice.
Dumb and Dumber.
Look. There's the camera.
Right, so everything is different. If this is your first time joining us for Coffee Moaning, we've just found, well, Mark, I haven't done anything. Mark's got his head around the new tech so that we can show photos. Is that right? Oh, wow, it's so much better for the comments.
Look, watch this. You just gently take this over here and look, you just scroll up and down. The comments come up slowly. Hi, Wonder Woman.
Oh, my God, this is life-changing.
Salsa Trish, Martin McKeown, Faith Goodman, Gabrielle MeTube. Good morning.
I love this.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. If you're new and just come over from Instagram, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because then we do loads of stuff here, not only our lives, we do loads of other stuff as well. It's really weird. We look a bit different.
We do, babe. But look, also, I'm in control of more than one feed, because look, over here, we go to the polls.
Wow.
And over here we have, should Boris have apologized to Nazanin? 98%. So they're seeing that and that.
Oh, you're seeing.
They're getting the best of both.
Ah, wow, I love that.
I can't control the polls on this page, though. You know.
Morning, everybody. How are you this morning? It's a beautiful day, which is good.
Claude Egan asks a killer question straight out of the gates. Does anyone here like Worcestershire sauce?
No.
Say it.
Mind you, I do like it in what's the vodka drink? Bloody Mary.
I love it in Bloody Mary on a steak tartare. Who likes steak tartare?
A steak tartare.
Yeah.
Who tried my lasagna sandwich? Somebody was just saying my toasted sandwich, my lasagna in a toasted sandwich maker. I'd made it before on here, but I put it on my Instagram. I shot it again on my Instagram. And it's going crazy. So many people have done it and loved it. Actually, I was at Loose Women yesterday, and a couple of the cameramen said to me, "Oh, I made your lasagna in a toast." I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
I really, really get a buzz from it when people
cook it.
Actually make my recipes
that's quite something,
and enjoy them.
It means they have a purpose beyond just a sort of, I don't know.
But I do like it actually if people just watch them and like them.
Yeah, I mean, really, more often than not, you're an exhibitionist, so you quite like people just looking at your bottom, don't you?
No.
Can you say welcome to Jess? She's a new member.
Welcome, Jess. Welcome, Jess. Welcome to the family guest. Welcome, Jess.
And guys, those of you who were here yesterday morning, you'll vouch for the fact that the tech worked, didn't it? We managed to play things in, we managed to pop images up and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do the same again today. I'm dumber. She's dumb. Although it's written the wrong way, wrong.
I think we should say I'm dumb and you're dumber.
Dumb and dumber. Okay. So are you making a coffee and you're going to then join us and then we'll get going? The reason I popped that on the poll, guys, is because Nazanin went to see our mate Boris. Nazanin obviously is the lady who was recently released from Iran after God knows how many years held by the Iranians. 5.5 years. Boris Johnson's gaffe as foreign secretary when he inferred that she was there under sort of pseudo-journalistic reasons was one of the reasons cited as to why Iran refused to release her. So Nazanin, in meeting Boris...
So 4.5 years ago, when he was foreign minister, he actually said she was in Iran training journalists. This was catastrophic for her in her case. In Iran, they made adverts out of it to prove to people that, you see, look, her own prime minister said she was training journalists. Mm-hmm. She was a charity worker. It was an absolute disgrace. It is undoubted that she spent more time in prison because of that, him saying that. Absolute fucking moron. As usual, he hadn't done his homework. He hadn't read his brief. And he just blustered and bumbled his way. Blustered and bumbled his way through somebody's life. This was her life. This was years away from her children. Torture, both physical and mental. He was responsible for that.
And as she said to him, she lived in the shadow of his words.
This was yesterday.
And her husband said that, I had to say the Prime Minister looked quite shocked when she said that.
How can you be shocked?
Yeah.
Everyone's been telling saying that. The whole time she's been fucking...
Mr. Ratcliffe said his wife had told Mr. Johnson that her release from captivity didn't need to take 6 years and asked him why it had taken so long. He said that Nazanin said to Boris, I just want you to know that the mistaken comments in 2017 had a lasting impact. I lived with that for ages. I know it was a mistake, but it lingered.
So it's really important. Now, if people start coming out and saying, well, she should just be grateful she got out at all. This is in my opinion, this is an incredibly classy woman who must have felt she'd been forgotten and was rotting and felt like she was almost rotting in jail.
Yeah.
Though the last year was spent, under house arrest, it's still absolutely horrendous, away from your child and everything. And it's very, very important for her to hold them accountable. Imagine how she would have felt all these years just saying, I've just got to tell them what the consequences of their actions were, not only for myself, but for future situations where people could be, hostages have been taken.
She's going to get a lot of hate for this.
And he didn't apologise.
No, he didn't apologise.
This man is totally extraordinary, how he just continues through with whatever his decided path is. He's the most blinkered.
Claire Hemming says he's a blundering knob.
He's a blundering knob, and he doesn't give a shit about human beings.
And here's the thing. I think a lot of people are going to be really critical. They're going to say the same thing again. Why isn't she grateful? Because after all, she's out. And, what's 5 years amongst friends, for God's sake? And all that kind of bollocks. They're going to say all of that. But actually, another huge aspect of her saying this and potentially asking for apology, even though she didn't get one, part of her mental health recovery will be a need and a desire to feel she said the thing she's probably wanted to say for 5
But Mark,
years.
I don't think it's only that.
No,
I
don't
think it's the friends she's left behind in prison.
Yeah,
so she's wanting to say, be really mindful with your words, because they have an impact. They can change the course of events. Don't go bumbling into a meeting without having read the brief.
You keep leaning that way, which is why I'm struggling
it's very weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like a reverse or something. Sorry. You need to sit on my lap. That's the way this works best. Okay, so that's Nazanin. No apology from Big Bojo, the Nojo, the Knob Joe. Knob jockey. That's a good
I know
phrase,
this isn't in the title, but does anybody else just wish you would shut the fuck up when it comes to Russia? Keep on goading them. Well, Liz Truss again yesterday.
Finland have had their electricity turned off
by the Russians, because we've gone over there and said, never mind the rest of the world, we will arm you if the Russians come for you.
Yeah, and apparently some insiders, I'd love to know who these insiders are saying that Russia want us to believe that Putin is ill, but he's not actually ill. It's all a double bluff.
Also, apparently, the good news is that yesterday, the American defense minister, who had been trying all the way through the conflict to have a conversation, had an hour-long conversation with Russia yesterday.
Oh, good. What about?
Well, we don't
Tottenham beating Arsenal.
Well, it's quite dramatic. They asked for an immediate ceasefire, but obviously that's not going to have been agreed. But the fact that those communication lines are open are really important.
Right,
Those poor souls in Ukraine. Oh my God, we just need it to stop and not keep ratcheting it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Family, I just noticed this because I thought, God, this is just a stark reminder of how difficult things have got. Families face paying 9 times more for getaway during half term, as it could be most expensive in years, experts warn. This is at the same time as, have you seen there's a new thing called airplane picnics? Have you seen this? Look at that. Woo! Sorry, that's the sound I make when an image comes up.
What is it? It's great, the image, but where's the picnic?
Well, no, there isn't a picnic.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
It's classic.
I thought I was looking at a picnic.
This is a generic image to show travelling at half term. Girl looking out of window.
Right. You said, look at
this.
Have you heard about the picnic? Look at this.
I thought, sorry. This is another aspect of it. So not only a holiday is going to cost 9 times more, there are passport backups. Airports are disastrous. Terrible. They're not even, because they have such a shortage of personnel with the catering firms, they're encouraging you to bring your own nosh and your own food on board, which of course creates problems with soft drinks and stuff like that. But some of the prices here, Ryanair flight to Nice climbed to £126 in half term compared to £13 the week before. Disgusting.
It's so short-sighted.
It's disgusting, but I would also...
Because people just aren't going to go.
But I would make a suggestion that should any flight anywhere really cost 13 quid?
Well, listen, they are playing games here. This is obviously some £13 deal that you needed X amount of vouchers, and that's not the regular price, is it? £13. Such a Daily Mail story. This.
Meanwhile, EasyJet is charging £49 to jet off to Rome on May the 23rd, and a week later, it's £120. This is a massive deal for so many people.
But Mark, can I just say, for your point?
Yeah.
£50 is not a realistic. It's never been £50. So,
I agree.
this is a pretend story.
Well, no, but also, hasn't it always been the case that at half term and holidays, prices have always gone up?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a tilted story. The much more interesting story, you're right, and that's fucking annoying. I don't have an image for this.
Right.
Is the airplane picnic story, where I think, was it Ryanair or EasyJet? Basically, what would you put in a perfect airplane picnic? I think that you've got to do something on your social media about this. An airplane picnic. I quite like that idea. A little picnic. The girls would have loved that.
Because I used to hate the food. I wish to take
girls
it
would
to
have loved
lunch.
that. Yeah.
I like those espadrilles.
Espadrilles. Whatever happened to espadrilles? What do we think about the removal of?
That's true, Heather. It's the luggage charges. That's what makes me so annoyed. You buy all your tickets, don't you? And then they say, "Oh, and your suitcase, £80." It's like taking another person taking a piece of luggage.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it should be. I wish they would just go back to including the bloody luggage in the price.
Okay, junk food. Junk food. The government have put on the back burner a move to, these kind of buy one, get one free and all this kind of stuff. The fact that you can get loads more sweetie bad food for you. See, that's junk food there. Junk food. The government are delaying the ban on multi-buy deals. And they're also delaying the ban on junk food adverts before 9 p.m. And apparently this is coming from their back benches, where lots of Tory MPs are saying this is getting ridiculous. We're a nanny state. At which point, when I said that, you made a really good point, I thought, earlier. I
just think we need to I think the government need to hold accountable more the companies that just create this food that is just bad for you and nothing else.
Yeah.
So that the individuals can stop being blamed, and actually big industry that is making a lot of money out of increasing the obesity crisis and the diabetes crisis and all of that by putting just the right amount of salt and sugar to get your brain tingling so you come back for more and more and more.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I love junk food. I love crap food. But I do eat good food as well. But, something like, some things that you buy and you just eat them and they just fizz on your mouth like chemicals. You can almost taste the amount of shit that's put into them. Why should people be allowed to sell people that?
I don't know. But these multi-buy deals, the kids get them all the time, don't they? They're sort of like, it's like you can just
buy two, get one free.
But
I wish they would do that with food that's healthy. Why is it only done with junk food?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why not buy one, get 3 free packs of bananas or
get
blueberries,
a bag of nuts.
Or you never see it on anything good like that.
Yeah, or get dried fruit. But yeah, I tell you what, one of the big cons about junk food though is the idea that these kind of health bars are healthy. You actually unpack what's actually in a lot of these health bars. They're disastrous.
I know.
I always used to think a flapjack was a really good choice, guys, and then I discovered it was possibly the worst choice for my heart.
Have you ever made a flapjack? The amount of butter that has to go in a flapjack. And a good flapjack. You can make horrible flapjacks that don't have much butter in them. They're horrible.
So junk food. I've asked.
That's true, Melanie Williams. It's because healthy food doesn't last. It's expensive to maintain.
Look, the vast majority of you do so. But the topic that kind of came out of this for me was: do we live in a nanny state? Do we mind when the vast majority of you feel we do live in a nanny state? Should we? I suppose when it comes to children, there have to be guidances in place, don't there, of some sort, surely? And it's about hardwiring. It's about hardwiring in at an early age a concept that food needs to be healthy or eaten in moderation and all that kind of stuff. I'd have thought the meal deals in the cost of living crisis, maybe one of the other reasons they might put it on pause is so many people get just any food in that way, don't they? It's well and good sort of saying, well, you need to get Abel and Cole. You need to eat Abel and Cole. I see Abel and Cole driving around. I always think you've got dry, disgusting fruit and veg. Abel and Cole is an organic fruit and veg delivery service. They've never delivered a nice pear in their lives.
That's not true. A lot of their stuff is delicious. He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
I do. I remember
before you destroy a company.
No, I'm not discounting. Hardly. Do you think dumb can do that? Anyway, other news as well, which I thought needs to get some coverage, was the awful news in obviously Palestine of the death of the journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, and whilst they were trying to lay her to rest at her funeral procession, the most astonishing violence.
So upsetting.
I'm just going to add this and have a look. This is her funeral.
Carrying her casket from the hospital. This is a much loved journalist. A lot of these people grew up watching her reports. She had a press jacket on. She had a press hat on, and she was shot to death.
The coffin's gone down.
No, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And these people have nothing. They are armed with nothing, and these soldiers are just beating them with sticks. And whilst they carry her coffin. Oh my God. It's disgusting.
And I just wanted to show that because I just don't think it gets shown enough. The fact that there's huge iniquity and injustice going on between the Israelis, from the Israeli forces, not Israeli people, from the Israeli nation and
many Israeli
policy.
people are sick to death of the treatment of other human beings as well.
Absolutely.
It's the government and it's the Israeli, and a lot of those soldiers, they're conscripted, Mark.
Oh no!
How much do they want to be beating someone with a bloody stick?
Absolutely.
I feel sorry for all bloody sides, but it is horrific.
Absolutely.
And there should be such outrage. I mean, it is a war crime to shoot dead a journalist, a much loved journalist. She's American Palestinian, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Very well known journalist, and they shot her dead.
I know.
It's extraordinary.
The other news this week, which I didn't get a chance to talk about yesterday. Obviously, there's Dame Deborah, which is an ongoing, tragic but bittersweet. She's raised $5 million now. But at the same time, there's also Dave Myers from the Hairy Bikers, who has recently come out about the fact that he's been diagnosed with cancer. He calls himself the baldy biker now. And I just wanted to play.
I love the fact his wife has said to him, "You look like Stanley Tucci."
I know. Isn't that lovely? And I just wanted to play.
We will sing your dad happy birthday, Kylie. Vince, who's 70, we will sing.
I just wanted to play his. I think you can hear it. I don't know if we can. Yeah, no. So let me just do this just quickly. I just wanted you to hear.
This is very good, isn't it? Where you're putting all these in and out.
Oh, that's not right, is it? Wrong clip. All right, it's okay. Don't worry. I had a clip of Dave Myers.
What was
talking.
He saying?
I can't find it, but he was just sort of joshing with. He was just being
He's
incredibly light-hearted, incredibly sort of he's just a brave chap. Well, I was curious though. Does chemotherapy not affect facial hair?
I think it will eventually, because you lose eyelashes and everything. Yeah, no, it does. It's all your hair.
Yeah.
But I was saying to Mark this morning, as you know, I have a number of friends that have breast cancer, and oh my God, there's so much work that still needs to be done with the way that cancer patients are treated. I just think, from what I hear of my friends' experiences, there's just not enough mind paid to the mental health, the way that scans are booked, the way that the information for scans is given, the weights, the unclear answers, the way that, a friend of mine recently, she went in with headaches, she'd had breast cancer. And this doctor just very blithely said, "Oh, well, there's a 40% chance it could be a brain tumor," when she's going off on holiday the next day. And you think she was really good, actually. She said, "I know this is just for you every day, but the way you're talking to me today is really bad for my mental health." And I just think there's so much work to be done. Do you know what? For the doctors as well, I don't think doctors are trained enough on how to give information to people.
Probably because they're so tight on sort of processing people that they're not shown the kind of the emotional details, the kind of sensitivities that are required to kind of. And I mean, I suppose in their terms, if you think about the drama we saw with Ben Whishaw, where the young girl, we won't say in case you haven't seen it. Sorry, was it Sorry This May Hurt? There's a young doctor in that who's under such pressure, and she becomes sort of immune to the sensitivities required for the patients that are sat in front of her. Do you remember they keep coming through her office? So there is that aspect to it too. I mean, I'm sure, and I'd have thought also there might be this other aspect, which is maybe those who deliver some of the terrible news know that if they step towards it at all, it becomes a never-ending thing for them, and they need to be brutal, tough to be. Do you know what I mean? It's an incredibly invidious situation to be in.
I just think there's an awful lot of work to be done, and I see how my friends are just left with like hanging in the air so often. No, it really upsets me. What was I saying? What were you saying before that? Do you know what? I'm going to sing Happy Birthday to Vince.
Do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vince. 70 day. Happy birthday to you. And it's also Lucy's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Lucy. Happy birthday to you, Lucy. Happy birthday, dear Lucy. Happy birthday to you.
This is a curious story. Apparently, white private schoolboys are the new disadvantaged, says Cambridge Academic. Apparently, white privately educated boys are being prejudiced against when it comes to university admissions because there is an understandable push towards inclusivity and diversity at most other colleges.
I think things are going to tip a bit the other way for a bit until we get back to some sort of balance.
I suppose in one sense, it's easy to say, we need to reverse the balance. I suppose not if you're the parent of one of these children.
Yeah.
And it was just curious. Again, less about whether I agree with it or not, less about the fact that I think the fact that they can't go to Oxbridge but still can go to Durham, St Andrews and Bristol. I don't think that's necessarily a huge negative. They're very good universities. But what he does suggest, and I wondered whether this was a way forward, was they do suggest that they should remove names. He thinks they should sort of make anonymous applications.
That's exactly what I was just about to say.
Because often when you have commissioning processes for scripts and creative kind of projects, when people pitch for stuff, they often say remove your name and remove your identity so that it's a fair kind of judgment on the work. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. I think this guy's being a bit extreme when he says it's a disadvantage.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
it's David Abulafia says
to really be disadvantaged is very different.
Yeah.
Maybe things have become a little bit not so certain. Maybe that's a different way to put it.
He does say that some of them are sort of falling through the hoop, falling through the net, even jumping through the hoop. They sink without trace, he says. He says there are a number of incredibly talented, privately educated white boys. It's hard, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you're like, well, hang on. It's been tilted your way since time immemorial. And at what point do we tilt it the other way? Balancing out doesn't mean causing a disadvantage, me too. Oh, look, Kylie, thank you so much for that remark. My dad will be so chuffed.
Oh, Vince. Mwah.
I was going to add this image, but, it doesn't really give us much, does it? Final couple of silly stories. Well, not silly. This is interesting, this. And I'm going to move us along to this because this is quite something. I want you to check this out. What do you spot about this?
Hearing aid.
Yeah. What do you spot about this?
So good. Yep.
And what do you spot about this?
Wow, that's so good.
First Barbie dolls embracing prosthetic legs, hearing aids, skin pigmentation conditions, vitiligo, and they even have Barbie in a wheelchair. And I think this is a good
You know what?
move.
The other day, a couple of weeks ago, oh my God, please forgive me because I've forgotten the actress's name. We had, she was one of my favourite guests in a very long time, young actress. And she was there talking about her play. Do you remember I told you about it?
Yes,
Mark,
yes.
Talking about
she's at the Soho Theatre.
Yeah, Soho Theatre. And she has no arm. She was born with just her arm just comes to here, to her elbow. And she came on the show and she was talking about that. She was very, very smart, very lovely young woman. Anyway, later on, somebody posted on Instagram their little girl who's about this big. She must have been about 4. And she's watching the telly. She's got exactly the same arm.
Oh, wow.
And she's going, oh, she's like my arm.
Oh, wow.
She's like my arm. And she's jumping around with such joy seeing herself on the screen.
Oh, that's so amazing.
It's so important for people to see themselves and for children to see themselves.
Yeah.
So why the hell wouldn't you? It was like when they got fatter dolls. And everyone started saying, well, you're encouraging and you're saying it's okay to be plumper. I really don't agree with that. I don't think, it's important if you're a child and you're suffering with your weight, not to feel like you're some kind of freak.
Yeah.
So I think representation of all kinds is really important for children.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So there you go. So first Barbie dolls with prosthetics. It's it's a move that I think is overdue and entirely welcomed. Now, this next story is a picture story, and I just wanted to share this with you. This is quite funny. This. I don't know if anyone's been watching the not watching, but seeing the reports on the Agatha Christie trial. But some of the, I don't know, over the years, courtroom artists have been quite good, haven't they, over the years? But I just wanted to share with you the most recent courtroom artist's impression of, well, let's see if you can guess who the courtroom impression is of. Who is this an image of? I don't think
she's making. You know what's interesting?
I don't think Wayne Rooney's going to be very pleased with that.
Rebecca Vardy's husband is never there, but they were saying at work yesterday. It's like Colleen's making him pay for all his indiscretions by making him sit through every court day all day long. That's the most terrible drawing.
Terrible drawing. So what I thought we'd do is we trot through some of history's worst courtroom drawings, and we'll see if you can guess who they're of. So the next one is who's that?
Very famous.
Yeah, I mean, it's see if you can guess it. It's not exactly a Friday quiz, but I thought this might be a bit fun on a Saturday morning. Who is that?
No idea.
He looks like a night. Oh, yeah, no. Wayne Rooney looks like a nightclub bouncer, doesn't he? That is. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
That is Rebecca Vardy.
Oh,
Keanu Reeves.
I just like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's Rebecca. That's Rebecca Vardy. Who's that?
No idea.
Who do you think that is? Is that Jane Austen? Christos says at the last one. That is Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
Who's that?
Well, that looks like Colin Farrell.
That's what I thought.
Or what's his name from The Shining?
Oh, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Or
Boris in
my
drag.
Uncle Ilyas.
It does look like a few of your relatives. No, you're not going to believe it. That is Mel Gibson.
Oh, for the love of God.
Who's that? You're never going to get this. And I'm not asking about the judge in the background. Who's that?
No idea. Who is it?
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, for God. Hilarious. Hold on. Where did you find all of those?
This one. Who's that?
Farrah Fawcett.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh my God, you got it. Yes, that's Farrah Fawcett. Who are they?
Nicole Kidman.
No.
This one?
No.
Oh, the Kardashians.
Yes, I was going to say, if you didn't get that, I was going to be outraged. And finally, we were going to do sitcoms, but we're not going to. Favorite sitcoms. Apparently, there are no favorite sitcoms anymore.
Because there are no good sitcoms.
But who's watching the Eurovision Song Contest? And there was just a piece in the papers today saying people aren't watching the Eurovision for the Eurovision. They're watching it for this chap's commentary. And I have to say, I do think he's very good at this.
Clever.
And really huge shoes to fill, because Terry Wogan was so excellent at it, wasn't it? Anyway, we've got some of his best put downs here. And so here's some of Graham Norton's best put downs. This is If Everyone Hated Marmite. Less Destiny's Child, More Destiny's Inappropriate Aunt. Now it's time for the flag ceremony. It's a new tradition. It's a way of making the show just that little bit longer. I like the bit when she stopped the music. That was on Slovenia's performance in 2018. And there was just a couple at the bottom that I just thought, he said he did something terrible as a boy. We don't know what it was. It might have been to write this song. Okay, that's 3 minutes we'll never get back, but look at it this way. We'll never have to hear that song again. This will put fear into your heart. She's a devoted experimental jazz musician. She can do extraordinary things with her voice. Not pleasant things, just extraordinary.
Oh my God, he's genius. That's on tonight.
That's on tonight. They're drinking quite a lot. It's almost like they think they're not going to perform again. Oh, it's so funny. The bad news is you're about to watch Albania. She's only 17, so please bear that in mind. Where was her mother? Why didn't she step in and say no?
Oh my God.
So there you go. So there you go, guys. There's our multimedia fest this morning. That was fun, wasn't it?
Thank you, lovelies.
Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, as from Monday, it's the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Again, it starts. So stay